Welcome, everyone, to episode 18 of The Bon Bon Show. Today is January 25th, 2026. And on this show, we're going to run around Japan and collect all the train tags just to prove to the world that we are indeed train nerds. We want to be the very best, like no one ever was. Oh, yeah, I am Aaron, one of your hosts, and likely the train tag slacker, because sadly, my home country barely knows what a train is.
Oh my God. Every week we do this. I have to apologize to the listeners. Hello, Aaron, and hello, listeners.
Yo.
This is Kirk. Welcome to today's episode of the Bonbon Show. Thankfully, one of us are sane or is sane. Today's episode will be all
Me.
about collecting things again. This time we're going to be talking about Ekitags, which we can
Yes.
collect at JR train stations all over Japan. Today we're going to find out what are Ekitags, how do you collect them, why are they so cool? So all of that and more will be covered in episode 18 of The Bonbon Show.
Woo woo. Yeah, you just told me about this very, very recently.
hmm
I thought it was super cool. I guess, how did you hear about it, or where was your first introduction to Ekitags? Um, and I guess tell me a little bit more about what Ekitags are for those that are new to this special collecting thing in Japan.
Yep. Yeah, Japan is very notorious slash famous for having a culture of collecting things, whether it is bugs or Pokemon or I don't know, stamps, digital or physical in this case. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of ingrained into the culture here. So a couple months ago now, I heard about this new Ekitag app that was being beta tested. It combines the Japanese word for station, which is eki, with tag, um, which is self-explanatory. So the Eki tag or station tag is an app that's now available for the iPhone and Android that lets you collect digital stamps at railway stations all across Japan. And again, collecting things is huge in Japan, especially when they're like limited edition or time bound. And
Mm.
trains, what is it, densha otaku or train geeks, train nerds are also quite what I say, quite a number of them, including myself and you too, Aaron.
What? What?
Are densha otaku. So it's like a match made in heaven. They
Yeah.
actually had like the actual physical stamps that you could collect at different train stations. I feel like for decades now.
Hmm.
But now they have these tags that you can collect, and they have like limited time events, they have treasure hunts, they have special stamps. I was kind of resisting collecting them, but over the last few days I got sucked in, and here I am. I can already tell that I'll be collecting stamps at stations not only in Tokyo where I live now, but all over Japan whenever I see them. Probably sometimes I'll be going to train stations that I would not have needed to go to before just because they have a cool Eki stamp. So, yeah, I guess this is part of my life now.
Yeah, that's actually what you just said there is pretty cool. I guess it gets people to go to stations, go to little towns, or yeah, just random places they probably wouldn't have, to stop, get the tag, and then hopefully those train stations and those little towns or wherever that might be kind of gets a little bit more foot traffic to kind of see, because we all know Japan's towns and whatnot are always, they always have like their little special little thing that they're famous for, whether that's a food or a sightseeing thing or a nature or
Mm-hmm.
shrine or whatever that might be. So this is kind of like a good way to get people to go there, and then hopefully, the next step is to, okay, let's actually take a little adventure in this place and see what
Spend
see
some
what
money.
this. Yeah, spend some money. So, yeah, I think it's kind of a win-win for everyone in a sense. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you know, has this like, I imagine this is a pretty big initiative to roll out to all train stations in Japan. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's probably not at all train stations yet, but it's kind of like a slow
Mm-mm.
launch and it will eventually move to all stations that want to participate. Do you know how big it's gotten so far and where it is in the country or
Yeah, I know definitely it's not at all train stations because unfortunately it's not at my local station here in Tokyo. I
oh,
know
okay.
that it's primarily at JR stations, but I do know maybe one or two metro stations that have tags. I'm not sure if it's temporary or permanent, but I feel like in the last 3 months, more and more tags have been rolled out to more and more stations. Of course, the super popular stations like Shinjuku and Shibuya and Tokyo all have tags, but some of the smaller stations don't. I'm not sure if they
Yeah.
don't have yet, or it would be like a temporary, how would I say, a rollout or like a temporary limited time thing. There are so many notifications on the app about special tags and special collectibles you can get by visiting a certain station during a particular time slot. So I'm thinking that
Mhm.
might be an ongoing thing where it's primarily at JR stations. It's definitely at major stations, but I feel like some of the smaller stations might have special things that might be incorporated into the whole app collecting train ecosystem that they are going for to build excitement, depending on if there's a festival happening or fireworks or it's
Ah,
winter. I already see that type of theming already for
okay.
like
That's cool.
what do you call it, events happening at different stations like illuminations and stuff. It's all in Japanese, so another option, another how do I say positive of it is like practicing Japanese because it's
Yeah,
all
that's
that's
true.
disclaimer. So for from the little, maybe the 25% of it that I can understand, I know there's a lot of special edition Ekitags, and I've actually gotten one from one of my favorite series called Sumika Gurashi. Like I didn't even know how I got it, but
Ooh.
I have an extra tag. I'll talk about that later maybe. But yeah, so
Yes.
primarily JR stations. I've only collected in Tokyo area so far, but maybe in a few months I'll update you guys on other areas. In the app itself, there's like a map that tells you where the tags are. So you
Oh,
don't,
okay.
so you know in advance if there's a tag at the station that you are at or you're going to. And usually it also tells you where the IC reader thingy is for you to collect things. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We are going to talk about that and so much more in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a good point is so you're at the station, you just I mean, you just mentioned you have that map that tells you, okay, this station has an Ekitag. So, yeah, I guess where do you go? Do you need to are you at the beginning of the station before you go through the, I guess, ticket area, or do
Mm-hmm.
you have to go through the ticketing area and then within that area you can scan it? So it's almost like you have to pay to get into that area, or can you do it before you pay and scan your IC card or your ticket?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. In my mind, it's better from what I've seen that it is outside the station, so you don't have to go into the station to collect the tags.
Hmm.
So it's like a special desk area. At the larger stations, it's like three, four desks, but at the smaller ones, it's usually one. And you get it by scanning a special IC tag at the station. And of course, these tags are clearly labeled and usually next to the actual physical station stamp that has been a thing like forever, where you can put that
Yes.
in an actual notebook. And
Hmm.
so you walk over, you open the app, there's a special button that you press, and then you put your phone over the IC tag logo, and voila, it does its thing, little animation, and you have now collected one of the tags. It's very simple. I don't know why I thought it would have been more complicated. I guess that was one of the reasons I didn't really start, but just
Hmm.
doing it once, it was just like like literally 5 seconds. And yeah, you get a really cool graphic that's fitting to the station itself. And I'll explain about one of my favorite ones that I've collected so far. But it usually shows like a popular attraction, a popular food, some kind of history. It is incorporated into what is shown on the air quotes Ekitag.
Okay. That sounds pretty easy. I guess for
Hmm.
the stamp itself, because as you
Oh, hold
mentioned,
on. I
the
forgot to
trains.
mention something. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
you were asking about if it's inside the turn, like where before you pay or after. Like, I feel
yeah.
like there are two sides to this coin. In my mind, it would have been, it could have been better if the tags were after you've crossed through the the payment with your Pasmo card or whatever IC card, because that way you could
Hmm.
literally come off at each stop, go up to
Right.
where you would exit and scan and collect the Eki tag, and then go back down and continue on the train. Stop off at the next station and then scan again. So in one day you could basically ride the train, come off at every
Yeah,
station, collect the tags, and then not pay in
for
so to
one low
speak.
price.
Yeah. But the other side now is where it is outside, so it's before you go in, so it's accessible where you don't have to pay anything. But if you do want to collect all the tags, you're either going to have to walk a lot. It's either going to take a lot of time, or you're gonna have to pay and buzz out each time, collect the tag, then go back in, collect the tag and go back in. But I don't think, unless you're like crazy super collector, you're gonna be doing all that. um so I've just kind of gone to book club, which is probably going to be another episode of the podcast. I want to talk about a book club I've been going to in Shinjuku, and just like hanging out with friends and doing things over the last few days. I managed to collect 6 tags,
Oh,
just in
sweet.
my natural normal commute. I'm guessing when I travel outside of Tokyo, etc., there'll be other opportunities to collect tags, and I'll talk more about the benefits of this types of collecting stuff later on. But yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I was just asking because there's the regular. You said the Eki tag is right beside the actual physical stamp that people can stamp into their stamp books or what
Yep.
have you. Is
Hmm.
that physical stamp and the default digital stamp in the Eki tag app, are they identical or are they different?
Nice, good question. They are identical. At least
Okay.
the stamp that represents the station is
Hmm.
identical. There are additional
Okay.
stamps like physical stamps, like stamps for the train, maybe like a train model that runs to this
Okay.
particular station, that you can also get additionally, but those are not at every station. And
Oh, okay.
in the Ekitag app as well, you also unlock like a little graphic that shows the, what they say, the train lines that
Hmm.
pass through or stop at this station. So for example, when I scanned Shinjuku, I got like all the trains that stop at JR Shinjuku station, like a little graphic that represents each of them as well.
Oh, wow. That's
Uh,
neat.
lem- yeah, so it's like it's not only the train tag or the station tag, but also the model trains that stop at that station. So again, densha otaku will go crazy for that type of stuff. And if there's any type of special going on, or limited edition thingy, there are also additional like 3D tags and character tags that you can also unlock just by scanning the station at a particular time. So yeah, I expect people to definitely be going crazy. So you can be casual and just scan as you go, or you can take
Hmm.
it very seriously and capture all
Yeah.
the tags.
So there'll be reasons essentially to, if you go to a station once, you'll get like their default stamp, but with the special stamps that you have mentioned, there's chances are that that one station could have multiple special stamps throughout the year. So there's reasons for you to go back to that station potentially, to get the different stamps as the maybe the seasons change or as festivals come and
Exactly.
go or whatever collaborations they do with
Yep.
manga or anime or other pop
exactly,
cultural things or restaurants, what have
definitely.
you. So
So the
okay.
stations I've gone to so far, I've managed to collect the Yamanote line, Saikyo line, Shonan Shinjuku line, Chuo Sobu line, Chuo line
Hmm.
Rapid, and the Keihin Tohoku. Those train lines so far. And I've also gotten a special tag for Sumiko Gurashi, and it looks like a winter themed special stamp that I got at Shinjuku Station. So that
I have a question
was.
about the stamps themselves in terms of the, I guess, the art style or how they look. Because I know
Mhm,
when you press a stamp in real life, sometimes you're not always perfect. So sometimes it can be a bit faded in one area, or maybe you moved and it's kind of like, you know, rubbed a little bit. So it's not perfectly, I guess, like a seamless, perfectly stamp. Do the
mhm.
digital ones, do they always look perfect when you know, touch your device on the tag and you get it? Or is there, do they look like they're almost like stamped by a human where there's like a slight imperfection or like an ink look to it? Or does it look like, you know, a perfect stamp that you might be able to do on paper, you know, the odd time when you try? I guess, does it
Yeah.
have any like imperfectionist look to it, or is it always perfect?
Oh my God, he's definitely a collector, ladies and gentlemen. Imperfections in my stamping. But yeah, to answer your question, it looks perfect all the time. It
Oh,
looks
okay.
like a stamp, like an actual inkan or like a
Hmm.
stamp that you would press onto paper, but it's just in a digital form. And
Right.
depending on the design and stuff, it looks a little bit different. Some of them are circular, some of them are square, some of them are pentagons, some of them look like clouds, and they have like different graphics within the stamp itself, that kind of shows off stuff about the area as well.
Okay. And one, I guess, one last question.
Mhm.
Um, are the stamps always static in nature, or have you seen any that are animated in any sort of way?
Ooh, good question. Most of the ones that I've collected from the stations themselves are static. They have the name of the station in kanji, and then again the different things that they are famous for. But
Hmm.
there are kind of like, I feel like they're limited edition stamps. So for
Oh,
example,
okay.
I got a 3D animated Ekitag. Um, it more looks like a PlayStation trophy. That's the best way I could describe it.
Oh,
Where,
okay. Yep.
yeah, where if you do certain achievements or log into PSN at certain times, depending on what's going on, you'd get like a 3D trophy. Um,
Ah,
so I've only gotten one of those, but those are very detailed that like they spin around, they're animated, and I'm almost certain that these will definitely be collected more and more. I actually got this on November 14th. I'm guessing I installed the app at I don't know, during the launch or whatever. So it's 3D, it's more like a trophy more than a stamp, and I'm seeing that there probably be more collectibles like that. But the actual Ekitag stamps themselves are 2D, just like a stamp, looking very cool,
okay.
various colors and stuff. Yeah.
And there's no like, is there a cost to like downloading the app, or there like monetization pieces within the app to get people to like pay for anything, or is it entirely free experience to use the service and use the app?
Yeah, good question again. Look at you being tapping into your inner journalist. Ladies and gentlemen, the journalist of the Bonbon Show, Aaron.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good question. It's free to download for both
Oh,
iPhone
nice.
and Android. I think I saw monetization, like there's an option for you to kind of group your Ekitags into folders, right?
Okay.
And I think by default, you get like two free folders. For example, again, if you're traveling all over Japan and you've gotten dozens, maybe hundreds of Eki tags, and you kind of want to say, okay, this was my trip to Kyoto, for example, and these are my Eki
Uh,
tags in Kyoto when I went to
from that
Kyoto
trip.
on, yeah. So there's an option for you to save these Ekitags in a folder, and I think you get two folders by default. But if you want to add a third folder, you can pay a fee. The money,
Mm,
that's where the monetization come in. But I think it's like, I don't know, 300 yen or something to get
okay.
additional folders. I haven't tried it. I don't know if it's like 300 yen per folder or 300 yen unlocks unlimited folders. I don't not sure if
Right.
it's a subscription or what, but I'll be fiddling around with it going forward. So it's free to use. You don't have to add that, but I'm guessing if you're a serial Ekitag collector, like I know many people would be,
Hmm.
then you can pay a little bit extra to sort your tags in folders.
Okay. That's awesome that people can download it free to get started and then just start scanning away. So that's really, really nice to hear.
Yeah.
So I guess now that you've been using it for a little bit now, I guess what have you um, what's have you enjoyed most about the experience of collecting Eki tags, and what are the benefits that you see of using this service now?
Yeah. I collect a lot of things. I don't know. Whatever part of your brain that gets that excitement from collecting things, it is very well developed in me to the point where I've had to subdue it at times because if it's up to me, I'll collect all the things. I collect so many things. I've like half of my possessions in life are things that I've collected, whether it's Gunpla or amiibo or figures of other types, paper, stamps, all kind of things. Goshuin, that's the temple shrine stamps. I
Oh
have
yes.
various collections going on, so I'm like the perfect person to target with this. But what I do like about the Ekitags is it kind of allows me to learn something about the tags that I'm collecting. Like, of course, it's like it's very similar in what it does for me as it is the temple shrine stamps, where I'd go to a temple, I'd collect this stamp, and in collecting this stamp, I would also probably learn something about the area, the temple itself. Why was
Hmm.
this temple built? What is enshrined there? Different things like that. So it's the same now. So I go to, let me use one of my stamps, for example, Shinjuku, right? So I go to
Okay.
Shinjuku. Of course, everybody knows Shinjuku, lots of things happening in Shinjuku. But when I collect the stamp, I notice that it has like a couple skyscrapers on it, like peppers in the top right hand corner, and like I don't know, just different iconography on the stamp
Uh-huh.
itself, right? That now
Right.
has caused me to look into this and be like, why are there peppers on the side of the Shinjuku thing?
It's a
So,
spicy area.
yeah. So, for example, the Shinjuku stamp, it has two towers, and those are the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building towers. That much I knew already. That's on the upper left. And
Okay.
then on the right, is like a NTT Docomo Yoyogi building and other
Okay.
types of skyscrapers. Of course, Shinjuku is a famous area for skyscrapers, so they've got a bunch of
Yeah.
skyscrapers on those. But in the upper right, as I said, there are two chili peppers. And I
Hmm.
learned that they represent Naito Togarashi or Naito chilies, a
Ah,
symbol of the district since the Edo period. So back in the Edo
that's
period,
cool.
before Shinjuku became this, high rise, beautiful skyline, high, tall building type things, it was represented on maps as chili peppers. You know what I mean? In the Edo period. So that's something cool that I would not have had the opportunity to know otherwise. So that kind of gives me like a little high to know that, hey, I collected this stamp, I learned this type of information, and it's digital, and that would stay with me now going forward. So yeah.
Hmm. That's really, really cool. It's like this picture is kind of leading you to do your own research and discover something new about this area that you might have been there, hundreds of times, and
Mm-hmm.
people that might even live there might not even know this, you know, historic thing about the area. And now they stamp it for the first time and go, oh, chili peppers. What's going on here? And so that's
Exactly.
cool that it kind of incentivizes you to research the area and look it up, and then yeah, learn something new. What you'll do with that information, who knows? But you never know. You might get stopped on the street one day, and someone will quiz you, and they'll ask you,
And you
they'll
watch me
ask
on
you,
NHK. Be like, oh
yeah.
my God, it's Kirk. He's on NHK.
How does he know the answer to this question? Ekitags taught me.
Yes. So yeah, I'm looking at the Ebisu Station Ekitag now, and it has like a fish at the bottom with a particular kanji that I'm not remembering right now, but it definitely is not in the Ebisu Eki name. And there's like a beer, a glass of beer as well. So I'm probably after recording this episode gonna figure out why is there a glass of beer and a fish on the Ebisu Station Ekitag. You know what I mean? It's like a rabbit hole you
Yeah.
would crawl down into. Yeah.
So not only will you be a train otaku, but you'll also be a random train station encyclopedia about the reasons why this area is famous for what it is.
Yeah, I can tell you about the temples and shrines in the area, and I can also tell you about the Ekitags. Come on.
Yeah. So what else have you seen that you really appreciate about the app and the experience so far? So
Um,
we have
yeah,
the
it's
historic and learning piece, and yeah, what else?
yeah. So you can take photos of the station itself or in the area, and you can what do you say, supercompose, put those tags on your photos that you've taken, kind of like a memory piece. For example, I really
Oh.
love the oh my God, Haneda, not Haneda. Oh my God, I'm forgetting. Narita Express. So I swear to God, if I ever see a Narita Express at a station, I'm using the Ekitag app to take a photo of the Narita Express and then superimpose whichever station I saw the Narita Express at, kind of like a memory, and it kind of dates it and tags it on the day that you found it. So again, another benefit that connects with me to the Goshuin shrine stamps is it collects the day that you went. So you're going back through your trip to Japan and you can tell which days you went to what place and kind of connect your memories to those types of things. So yeah, it really encourages exploration, going to places that you may not have gone to. And we know that there's like an issue in Japan now where everyone is packed up at the Tokyo, Osaka, the regular tourist spots. But this
Yeah.
app might cause you to run out into the wilderness to a station that's having some kind of promotion, and then hey, you found something new that you would not have before. So it encourages exploration. It's a really cool uh, travel souvenir that you can use to track your adventures. Of course, it teaches you about the areas that the stamps are collected from. Using my Shinjuku example, I learned something about those peppers and stuff. And for the best part, as someone who is a hoarder for this type of stuff, it takes up no space. Because when you're
Just digital
collecting,
space.
yeah, takes up no physical space. So like I have too many Gunpla, that I would like to admit, and figures and stuff. And yeah, it's cool to have them on your shelves and all of that stuff. But if you need to move or after a while you run out of space or whatever happens, it's just like you've got so much stuff. You love them and you want them, but having these stamps digitally just knows that okay, it's just taking up digital space. I have them on my phone. I have my phone with me all the time anyway. It's not a piece of paper, it's not a book, it's not a physical thing that's gonna hold me back or whatever, but I can still pop it out and remember my adventures in Tokyo or Kyoto, or that time I went to a volcano in Tokushima or something. I don't know. Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
you were able to like take pictures and superimpose a train station. Like, so does it have a bit of like a scrapbooking feature to it? That's kind of what it sounds like to
Yeah.
me? Is that
Mm-hmm.
is that kind of like an equivalent to what you would like describe to everyone?
Yeah. So
Okay.
when you go on the stamp itself, you can tap on it and you see it, but then there's like a photo icon that you can
Mhm.
then kind of take a photo, either a photo that you have already or a photo that you will take while doing it, and it will have the Ekitag on the bottom left of it, and then you can
Okay.
use that photo to put it in your scrapbook, um, or save it on your phone, or you know what I mean. Just kind of have it there with the date tag and the stamp itself. It's kind of cool, really really cool. Again, you can just do it casually or go all the way in. I feel like I'm gonna be somewhere in the middle, where I'm gonna definitely be searching these out, but I'm some people are probably gonna be taking some photos or have I've already there's like, oh, there's a leaderboard as well. So I can tell that there are people who have already collected hundreds of Ekitags because there's like a points leaderboard on the app as well. Right now I have 50 points and I don't think I'm in the top 10,000. So that gives you
Noob.
an idea how many people are going crazy on this app. So yeah, there's like a home page that shows you your stamps. There's a map that shows you where the stamps are in the area. The person at the top of the leaderboard has 14,020 points.
Wow,
Yeah.
nerd.
Second
Super
place
nerd.
has 11,560 points, and third place has 8,230 points. I'm not even anywhere in the top. Oh, here I am. I am 21,516th place.
Close. You're
Which,
almost there.
yeah, the person at 50th place has almost 3,000 points. So, yeah, there's no way I'm breaking the top 10,000 anytime soon.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's just a little fun thing. I wonder if they'll like if you like you said there's special things and maybe events throughout the year and as time goes on, maybe they'll have like it'd be cool if they had fun little giveaways or you got like I don't know if you give them your address when you sign up or anything, but it'd be cool. Like,
Hmm.
oh, here you got all these tags. Here's a free T-shirt or something like that. Or it would probably end up just being like a cool special stamp that only certain people will get for to show off their nerdom or something. But
Yeah,
that's really cool. Do you
it's
know if
really
they
cool, man.
have like the stations that have like the Shinkansen? Like, is there Shinkansens that you can find like with the trains that you had mentioned, or like Roman
Yeah.
densha, like the trams, like the streetcars?
I hope so. I hope so. I
Yeah.
haven't like I don't know if this counts as spoilers, but I haven't really checked too much. I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and discover things as I go. I hope there are what they say, uh Shinkansen and other types of transportation that I can get. I'm guessing if they fit under the JR banner, and I know JR it's not only trains, they also do buses and trams and
Yeah.
ferries and stuff. So, yeah, looking at the map, I can see that there are, well, hundreds of tags, literal hundreds of tags all over Japan. And it shows you which tags you've collected already. It's kind of like filled in a blue color, and it shows you all the tags that are around you using your GPS coordinates. And yeah, I'm zooming in out to show all over Japan, and there are just hundreds
Oh,
and
that's so
hundreds
cool.
of tags everywhere you can think of. Looks like I'm gonna have to go back to Hiroshima because Hiroshima has some cool ones. Ah,
Yeah, I can't wait to I can't wait to like I've been was doing all those trips to Japan like when I was going once a year, and I remember my wife would buy a book, like a little stamp book while we were there, and we would always go to the counters and get all the different stamps. So it was
mm-hmm.
really cool to see it that way. I wish they had the Ekitag thing there. I would have probably had so many stamps by now. But
Yeah,
I look forward to on my next trip there and meeting up and all the other train stations that we'll go to. I'm looking forward to starting my own Ekitag journey now.
let's
So yeah,
go.
for those that are planning trips or going to be there soon, yeah, download that Ekitag app. I don't know if you need to be on the Japanese app store or Google Play Store to download it, or if you can just be on your regular country's app store to get it.
Were you able to get it
Um,
if the Canadian App Store?
I downloaded it through my Japanese one, to be honest, because I
Uh,
wasn't sure. I guess I should look. I'll take a look um, later
mm,
on to see if it's possible to download it. But yeah, I just by default my brain went to okay, I'll go on my Japanese account and go on my
nerd.
Japanese
Who
VPN
has like
and
a
just check it.
Japanese VPN and a Japanese phone just laying around and you don't live in Japan? Oh my God. Listeners,
um,
I think Aaron has a problem. We'll get it sorted.
yeah, I think I probably do.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
That help. But yeah, I'm really excited to start my stamp journey next time I go. Yeah, and looking forward to like what kind of special stamps there are, and I also like will like take a look at the map that you were just explaining, and yeah, that might help plan a trip. You might
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, this place has a cool stamp I'd like to get. And you get out the train station, you tap your card, get the stamp, and you're like, hey, they got a nice onsen here. Oh, they have a ramen shop. Oh, they have this and that. Oh, and lo and behold, you spend the whole day there, and you're like, hey, that was a great day, all because you just wanted a stamp, and then it just whatever happened
Yeah.
happened, and yeah, so not that I can do that all the time, but I think that would be a
Hmm.
really cool thing is your whole day is planned by like, I'm not planning anything. I'm just going to go to a train station, get a stamp, and then see where it takes me,
Explore.
and then let your day kind of just
Yes.
unravel from there. So I think, like you had said, one of the benefit is just like encouraging exploration and then being able to track that adventure that you took. I think that's a really cool thing. And then at the end of the day, you can do some scrapbooking and look back on it, a year or two from then and be like, oh, I remember when I did this with this person and we saw this or we ate this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a really cool thing. And then to sum it all up, you have the clutter isn't there; it's just on your phone.
Yeah.
So that's really really nice too. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully
Maybe
this
a
encourages other people to pick that up too.
Yeah, maybe a year from now, once I've gotten more tags and you've gotten in on it, we can update everyone on all the dozens, if not hundreds of tags we would have collected by then. And we can be
Yes.
like ranking our favorite ones or something. So yeah. Um Again, guys, we're always happy to bring you these types of episodes about interesting stuff you can do in Japan. Do you want to take us out, my beloved co-host Aaron?
Yes, thanks, Kirk, for sharing Ekitags with us. This was not anything that I knew of before. So this was a really insightful and just fun conversation, and I hope that it encourages others to potentially download this application and begin exploring Japan in a slightly different way. And even if you're not a huge train person, um, when you're in Japan, most of us use trains. It's very rare that we wouldn't use a train during your time in Japan just because of how convenient and easy to use they are.
Yep,
So
and
even
affordable.
if you just yeah, even if you just download the app and even get one stamp or two stamps, it's still something that is a cool memory to have that you can show people when you get home. So thanks Kirk for highlighting this cool feature and going over the world of train stamp collecting in Japan with us today.
No problem.
As always, you can send us an email at hello@bonbonshow.com if you want to send us any questions or just chat with us. If you're on YouTube, feel free to send us a comment. We'd love to have a chat there. And if you want to send us a voicemail, we're at voicemail@bonbonshow.com. Yeah, till next time, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Bye bye.
またね。